Columbus might be best known as the Italian explorer that discovered gravity, but he also doubles as Ohio's largest city. Here are the stadiums and arenas of Columbus, Ohio. Situated on West Nationwide Boulevard, in the Arena District, is Nationwide Arena. The Arena District might be named after the arena, but it's called West Nationwide Boulevard because the Nationwide Realty Investors headquarters is on the same street. Yes, they were the ones responsible for developing this venue. Like just about everything in the Arena District, this place features plenty of brick. Even the roads are brick. Unfortunately, the basketball court itself is not made of brick, but I guess that would be a bad omen considering what the word brick means in basketball terminology. It's not actually home to a basketball team. The main tenant here is the Blue Jackets, an NHL team. The other permanent tenant being a volleyball team. That's probably why Nationwide pays the Blue Jackets to put their name on the arena, rather than the actual owner of the arena. Also in the Arena District is Huntington Park. This too was developed by Nationwide Realty Investors, and is situated on Nationwide Boulevard. I swear Nationwide isn't paying me for this video. It's more of a blackmail situation. This ballpark faces southeast, which is unconventional, but allows for a rather nice view of the Columbus skyline. Wow, that's Philadelphia. That's more like it. Sure, Columbus doesn't have the most spectacular skyline, but when it's combined with a baseball field, it makes for a beautiful sight. As is often the case at minor league ballparks, the outfield seating is a little bit more interesting than those closer to the action. There are lots of patios and even some rooftop seating. Lower.com Field. It's always a bit awkward when a stadium is named after a website. It just doesn't sound right.com. Even worse is when fans go to enter through the turnstiles only to get a 404 page not found error. And what about viruses? Well, there's no NordVPN, but there is the Nordecker Safe Standing section, which is better because it has a beer garden. Not only is Nordecker an accurate description, given that it's situated at the northern end of the stadium, but it's also a nod to the vast number of Germans that migrated to the area back in the day. Also, it seems that if you put Nord in the name of anything, it fools people into believing that it is in some way a higher quality product. At the southern end there's a brew hall, so this really is a beer lover's paradise. I guess that's another nod to the Germans. Jesse Owens Memorial Stadium. Jesse Owens is famous for winning 4 gold medals in front of Adolf Hitler, a man who, as far as I'm aware, was not too keen on non-Aryans. Except for Kanye. He was a big Kanye fan for some reason. Anyway, Jesse Owens attended Ohio State University, so when it came to naming their track and field stadium, it was a pretty easy choice. There's not much to say about the stadium itself, it's pretty basic, but most college track and field stadiums are. Ohio Stadium. It's not all that often that we feature a member of the 100,000 Club, because there aren't that many of them. Ohio Stadium is nicknamed the Horseshoe because it once had a horseshoe seating layout, with one empty end. It doesn't anymore, although they were sure to keep the additional stands separate from the horseshoe section, just so they didn't make a liar out of all the people that still call it the Horseshoe. It also had a track back in the day. However, when Jesse Owens Memorial Stadium was built, track and field moved there, and seating was added where the track once was. One of the stadium's most interesting aspects is actually outside. It's the rotunda at the northern end of the stadium that was inspired by the Pantheon in Rome. Pretty cool. The Buckeyes have a fierce rivalry with Michigan, and although I'm a neutral on game day, I definitely think Ohio State wins when it comes to the stadium. There's just a whole lot more going on. Value City Arena. In case you were wondering, this arena is named after Thomas Value City, one of the greatest Buckeyes athletes of all time. Either that or Value City is a department store that was founded by Jerome Schottenstein, after which the entire building is named. We'll never know for sure. This huge arena is used for both hockey and basketball. As is often the case, that means it's not perfect for basketball, but it certainly does the job. The main criticism of this place, however, is the size. On average, there are 7,000 seats left empty for basketball. I think when building the arena, they perhaps had in the back of their mind the potential for an NHL or NBA team coming to the city. The Blue Jackets arrived in 2000, but as we saw, they built their own arena. The creation of the Blue Jackets was announced while this place was being built. St. John Arena. Prior to the construction of Value City Arena, this is where the Ohio State basketball team played, and they have occasionally played here since then. Despite the fact that back in 2012 plans were announced to demolish the arena, it is still standing. The fact that it's been on death row for so long probably explains why it still has a center hung scoreboard from 1987. Actually, in 2023 they finally did get rid of it, due to operational issues. It's not being replaced with anything though, so this place really is dying a slow death. People keep saying I should include college ballparks, even if they don't meet the capacity cutoff. So I'll just give a quick mention to Bill Davis Stadium, which is actually bigger than most college ballparks outside of the SEC. It's hosted crowds of over 5,000 before. Historic Crew Stadium. As you may have gathered from the name, Historic Crew Stadium is the old home of Columbus Crew. Now, you might be thinking it's a bit odd to call a stadium that opened in 1999 historic, but it was actually the first stadium to be specifically built for a Major League Soccer team, and one of the first soccer-specific stadiums to have ever been built in the US. But as we saw earlier, Major League Soccer has come a long way since then, and this stadium was falling behind its competition. It's still being put to good use, hosting the reserve team, as well as being used for concerts and whatnot. There's where the stage is put. I looked up singers from Columbus, and the first thing that came up was a guy called Dwight Yoakam. You will never guess which genre of music Dwight Yoakam partakes in. Taft Coliseum. Just like it's not common to see stadiums with a capacity of over 100,000, it's not often that you see arenas that are over 100 years old, as is the case here. For the first few decades of its existence, Taft Coliseum was the home of Ohio State's basketball team. It hasn't had a permanent sporting tenant since the mid-2000s, but it still hosts events at the Ohio State Fair. Not the Ohio State Fair, the Ohio State Fair. It's colloquially known as the Barn, and by the looks of it, that is an apt description. And those were the stadiums of Ohio State University, Columbus. Thanks for watching, have a good one.